The Oklahoma City Police Department is excited about your interest in becoming a police officer. This video has been produced to familiarize you with the physical ability test you must complete as part of the police officer selection process. Physical ability test is designed to simulate pursuing and apprehending a suspect. You will move through a series of obstacles that have been assembled to create a comprehensive assessment of the physical abilities necessary to perform the essential job tasks associated with pursuing and apprehending a suspect. The physical ability test is comprised of two parts. Part 1 is a timed obstacle course. Applicants must complete Part 1 in 6 minutes or less to move on to Part 2. Part 2 consists of two pass-fail components. First, candidates will be required to hold a simulated handgun inside a ring for a duration of 30 seconds. Next, candidates will have to correctly identify the picture of a suspect that they viewed immediately prior to beginning Part 1. Failure to complete either part of the physical ability test will result in the candidate being disqualified. Prior to completing Part 1, the candidate will don a 13-pound weighted vest. This vest simulates the weight of an officer's protective vest and duty belt. Part 1 of the physical ability test is a series of obstacles. The candidate will run from one obstacle to the next, simulating a foot pursuit. We will now review each of the 10 obstacles that make up Part 1 of the physical ability test. The proctor will instruct you to take a seat inside your scout car. Close the door, secure your seat belt, and place both hands on the steering wheel. Once you're ready, the proctor will say go and will begin timing you. You will unbuckle, open the vehicle door, exit, and follow the course to the next station. You will begin by running a distance of approximately 300 feet to a 6-foot fence obstacle. You will scale the fence, climb over it, and carefully dismount. The fence is constructed with a horizontal foothold 2 feet above the ground. You will be able to use this foothold like a step to help propel yourself over the wall. You will continue on the course to a 4-foot fenced obstacle. You will scale the fence, climb over it, and carefully dismount. You will not be allowed to hurdle or jump over this obstacle. You will then proceed to the low crawl obstacle. You must crawl on hands and knees or elbows and knees underneath the crisscrossed ropes. You may not stand up until you have exited the obstacle. This will lead you to the barricade obstacle. You must go over the top of the obstacle by side hurdling it or climbing over it. You will quickly be at the leap obstacle, where you must jump over the area stretched across the path 3.5 feet apart. You will follow the path to the duck under obstacle. You must crouch down and under the lower beam of the obstacle, which is set at 3 feet. You may not slide under this obstacle. You will then run a distance of approximately 200 feet to the first flight of stairs. You will run up the 14 stairs, across the roof, and touch the marking on the wall of the structure ahead of you. You will then descend the same 14 stairs. You may use the handrails and you may skip steps on the way up the stairs. Please do not skip steps on the way down. You will run around the front or north side of the building to the second flight of stairs. You will go up the 14 stairs, turn right, and move across the roof to touch the marking on the wall of the structure ahead of you. You will then descend the same 14 stairs. Continue forward and around the red bench to the street and turn left. You will then run to a 185-pound human-formed dummy in a seated position. The dummy is wearing a harness to provide you with handholds by which to grab the dummy. You will drag the dummy from the seated position to the ground. Once it's on the ground, you will drag it across the marked line 15 feet away using the harness. You must then roll the dummy over. You will follow the marked path on the ground to the first of 2 serpentines or weaves around the cones. You must go around and stay on the outside of each cone. After completing this obstacle, you will continue running along the marked path to the end of the street and turn left. Do not cut through the interior street. You will go up a slight hill and turn left again and run to the second serpentine, which is also the last obstacle. Then proceed to the finish line. Once you cross the finish line, the timer will be stopped. The entire course from start to finish is approximately 2,400 feet, or slightly less than 1/2 mile. You will be required to complete Part 1 of the physical ability test in 6 minutes or less. This time is determined to be the minimally acceptable standard for an incumbent police officer. If you complete the course in 6 minutes or less, you will move on to Part 2. If you are unable to complete Part 1 within the required 6 minutes, you will be disqualified from the physical ability test. Immediately after completing Part 1, you will pick up a simulated handgun and be instructed to hold the handgun with both hands inside of a 1-foot diameter ring. The ring will be adjusted to the proper height based on your height. Once the ring height is adjusted, the timer will start. You will be required to hold the gun inside the ring for a duration of 30 seconds without touching the ring. If you remove your hands from the ring or touch the ring prior to 30 seconds, you will be disqualified. Following the gun hold, you will view a series of images containing the faces of suspects. You will be required to select the suspect that matches the image you were shown prior to Part 1 of the physical ability test. If you select the correct image, you will have passed the physical ability test. If you fail to select the correct image, you will be disqualified from the physical ability test. The physical ability test is strictly pass-fail. You will not be awarded more points or better standing for completing the timed portion of the test in less time. That said, we encourage you to do your best. We also highly recommend that you carefully review the candidate orientation guide that is available on our website and engage in physical preparation to ensure that you can safely meet the required standard. We look forward to seeing you on test date and wish you success.